people who are using a heat pump right now
Yeah.
to heat their house, why would my heat pump not be blowing hot air?
Okay, well, that's a good question. A heat pump is kind of unique in that the temperature that it operates at, the temperature of the air that it's blowing can vary. And what it does is in the wintertime, it takes heat out of the air outside and transfers it and discharges it inside the house. And let me say that again. In the wintertime, when it's cold outside, it takes heat out of the air outside and discharges it inside. And you might say, well, wait a minute, it's cold outside. Well, yes, it is cold outside, but there is still heat available, actually quite a bit of heat available. And so, yes, it is cold outside, but we can still take heat out of the air and discharge it inside. However, if we think about when we first start using the heat pump in the fall, for instance, it might be a 60-degree night and we turn on the heat pump to heat the home. Well, there's certainly more heat available on that 60-degree night than a month later when now it's 30 degrees outside. As the temperature goes down outside, there's less heat available outside. You're going to have that variance of temperatures. Now, the question was, why does it blow cool air? Well, let's just think about that. On a day where it's in the teens outside, there certainly is less heat available outside than it was when it was 60 degrees or 50 degrees. And so it's going to be operating through that same refrigeration cycle, but the actual temperature of the air is going to be cooler than when it was 50 degrees outside. Now, is it cool? Well, it's relative to my 98.6 degree hand. I'll take my 98.6 degree hand and put it in an airflow where if the temperature were 110 degrees, that's going to feel what? It's going to feel warm. It's warmer than my hand. If I were to take my 98.6 degree hand and put it in an airstream that is 85 degrees, it's going to feel cool. That makes sense? So it's going to feel cool. However, if I had a machine that blew 85-degree air out of all the holes in the floor and it's blowing 85 degrees, does it make sense that I could heat my home if I had 85-degree air blowing out of the register? Well, yeah, certainly. It certainly does. However, when I put my hand in that airstream, it's going to feel cool. So that really is kind of a normal phenomenon. That air actually has more heat than what you might think, or it's not quite as cool as it feels like. Yeah, that could be 80, 90-degree air, feels cool to the touch, but actually it's that's a lot of heat that we can heat your home with, and it certainly can heat your home to your 70, 75 degrees. So,
and I asked this question hopefully to help people save on a service call if they're having this issue, because as a call taker, I get this question a lot, like, hey, I'm having a problem. I have cool air coming out of my vents. But when I ask a few more questions, like, well, what's your thermostat set to, and what is the house temperature? And they're like, well, it's set at 70, and they're saying that it's 70, 71. Well, I don't think you have a problem.
And so, the room, it seems
and so keep your $100 or whatever you would pay your service technician.
And so just know if you've got a heat pump, there are some unique things about a heat pump and how it operates a little bit differently.